Welcome to Finance Revealed. Watch the complete video to discover new market secrets. Subscribe now.
If you look at the size of those markets, equities, bonds, and real estate on a global basis, like global real estate's about $100 trillion. Global equities, global bonds, they're all like the $200 trillion market. And then you've got crypto, the fastest adoption technology in all recorded history, which is the internet of money, where all of these things are going to be tokenized and will be part of this. It won't all be Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just one of the expressions of this. So that space is currently about $1.5 trillion today. So for it to meet somewhere around the equity bond market size, that's 100x from here. If it actually absorbs all of those markets, well, that's a 500x. So 100x, you, me, nobody in history, anybody has ever been given a whole asset class, an entire asset class that can go up 100x to $200 trillion. And it fractionalizes. So it doesn't matter whether you earn £20,000 a year or you earn £200,000 a year, you can both put 10% of your income in it because it's fractional. So now you're on the same playing field. Okay, that gets interesting. So we can all have the same percentage in Bitcoin, but then it's going to get more interesting because, like, if you've got an apartment in number 1 Hyde Park, that thing costs £200 million out of all of our reach. But the guy who owns it probably bought it for 100 million. He's made 100%. He's made 100 million. We can't, and the average apartment in the outskirts of London hasn't gone up as much. So how do we make the money? Well, we're going to tokenize real estate too. Because then maybe out of one of those fancy buildings, one of those apartments gets tokenized. So you can put in 10% of your net worth into it, and I can put in 5% of my net worth, and somebody else can put in 50% of their net worth. And because it's fractional and it's tokenized, we all get to participate without it just being the rich get richer. Fascinating. So there's a lot coming.
What do you see in those other competitors, if you will?
I don't, and I don't know is the answer, but I need to have an open mind because this space is too close-minded. The space is because you're rewarded to be tribal and back the only one true thing, true asset. As investors, we need to be careful of that bias. So I don't know. So some very smart people that I know say, listen, Polkadot is a really serious project and this could do this, Filecoin or, there's a bunch of things that people say, listen, you don't really understand the use case yet. And probably in 3 years' time, we'll be talking more about it. So I kind of say, yeah, okay, I'll keep an open mind. I have an open enough mind that I even own Doge. And the reason being is simply put, if the world is network effects, you've got a lot of retail owners, but there's no network because we're not being used. But then you've got Elon Musk telling you, I want to build on this. Why? Well, because he's got all these users, right? He can now raise infinite capital if he becomes, the core side, the other side of the network equation. Mark Cuban started accepting Doge because he realized it's a social thing. People know it's kind of fun, but it also has worked. So he started accepting at Dallas Maps for ticket sales and merch and stuff like that. So now you might end up building a network. So again, I keep an open mind to all of this. People are too quick to say, this is never going to make it. Like Cardano, right? There's a huge fight in the community, Cardano and its smart contracts. And, is it going to amount to anything? Is it going to amount to nothing? I don't know. And that's okay. And we should all be a little bit more comfortable saying, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Let's see how it goes. I can place a small bet in it. I can't place a big bet yet because I don't know enough. Maybe you're really in the space and you know it inside out. And you think, yeah, you know what? I can see what's coming down the pipe on the plan. I think this is going to work. I can take a bigger bet. That's okay too. But, I can't because I don't know. I just don't have the bandwidth to take all this in. The other one that came out that it's going to take a while to sort this one out. And I don't know which way it's going to go, but you shouldn't write it off, is Dfinity or the internet computer. So unfortunately, it was backed heavily by VCs early on. The people who were allowed liquidity on launch had made tens of thousands of percent. And so retail got pretty burnt into that equation. That was ugly and not good and not honorable. I've got several friends who invested in it, and they're all locked up still, but there's a bunch that weren't. So that was not good. What those guys have built, I don't even understand. I can't, I've interviewed them. I don't really know, but I kind of figure it's big. It's kind of like, when we first spoke to Charles Hoskinson on Real Vision 2016, 15, it was the same. It's like, it sounds pretty big. I don't know. And Definity's, it fell 90 something percent. Is that a small call option on something? Could it be worth zero possibly? I don't know. We just have to keep our eye because, even though the adoption is exponential, each token has to go through its adoption curve or failure. And we don't, that takes a bit more time than we think. While we see the whole space doing this, it's really driven by, currently it's really driven by Bitcoin, Ethereum, and DeFi. The other protocols, it's going to take more time.
Ethereum forecast, Ethereum founder, Ethereum mining, Ethereum price prediction, Ethereum price, Ethereum news, Ethereum network, Ethereum worth, Ethereum buy, Ethereum Reddit, Ethereum yield, Ethereum history.